Okay, we might have a few people coming in, but we'll go ahead and get started. You can begin now. That's Belinda is going to start with an opening prayer, and she will start out after that. And we're glad to have you in Angela.
Or good morning, it's evening in South Africa. It's wonderful to feel all of your energies, particularly at a time of immense chaos in the world. So I'd like to ask you to just be still. And if you'd like to close your eyes for a couple of minutes, that's fine. You're going to breathe in with the tides of the sea and out with the tides of the sea. So you breathe in through your mouth and out. And in and out. Beloved Mother, Father, God, and all of our ancestors, right here and right now, I bring into your presence all of your precious children. We know that we are made of the same stuff as every drop of water in the ocean. We are made of the same stuff as every speck of stardust. We are made of the same stuff as all of the atoms and the spaces between the atoms. Therefore, may we all unite and see our common humanity. Mother, Father, God, and all the ancestors, I ask that you, infinity and infinite ones, right here and right now, bring the healing balm of peace and spread it over all of us and over the entire region of war, so that the leaders will be enlightened to their highest selves and that good will triumph over evil. We give grateful thanks. Allow yourself in this moment to be both an absorber and a transmitter of light. As we bring in the light of the universe, feel yourself pulling it in through your crown chakra and radiating it out to all the world. We give grateful thanks. So be it, and so it is. Amen.
Thank you, Belinda. Thank you.
Thank you.
Right, and sorry. As we all gather here tonight, we know that for those in the world of spirit, there is no space. Therefore, for them, it is as though we are sitting in one room. And indeed, this is what it feels like at this moment. There's a lot of chattering. It feels like there are many, many of us at this moment in time. And I will bring forward and allow those who dominate the chatter to step forward and speak. The first thing that I'm made aware of is that we're in a very unique situation, because this is a gathering of people who have very special abilities. Everybody here has been working on his or her abilities for quite a while and in very active ways. Spirit asks that those who doubt what they are bringing to the world to set that aside, because each person here has a unique ability. I want to first come to Brandon. Hi, Brandon. It's great to see you here this evening. And I'm bringing forward a grandfather who says that you are one, it must be a grandfather, are one of the brightest people. This is a family of incredibly clever people. And one of the things that is so amazing about you is that you are a whole brain learner. This man is incredibly intelligent, and he didn't choose specifically the spiritual path when he was alive, but he is so grateful that you have chosen to be open to spirit in order to be a bridge and a conveyor of the light. He tells me that you are incredibly brilliant too, that you might indeed have measured your IQ and found out that you're in the top 2 or 1% of the population. You have a very, very good sense. You're very, very good logically, and you are able to use your intuition as well. So he is incredibly proud of you, and he says that you're going to bring enlightenment to so many people. He asks you to use both the powers of your intellect and the powers of spirit. They gather around you right now, and they hold you, and there's a lady who steps forward and squeezes your cheeks. She goes back to a point, you know, it is just when you were little, where this lady always used to do that. And so there's a great deal of love around you.
Totally. Thank you so much for that, Rabbi.
Pleasure. Pleasure. Now, there's a Glenda. They were talking about Glenda. I do see a Glenda there. Hi, Glenda. So Spirit says to you, you haven't lost us. We're always around you. And you've wanted to feel that so much more recently. They say you so much want to know. They say you don't want to just believe, right? You want to experience. And they want to say, never has anybody been lost to you. And there are two elders. There's one older woman and one older man who step forward. And they say, you're such a good person. And they want you to feel loved. They ask that you surround yourself with people who are loving, because you're one who has always given to others. And now it is time for you to reap what you have sown. But they know that at times you feel very, very lonely. People don't see it. You paste a smile on your face and you go forward. So they want to know that, they want you to know that at least you are seen and you are heard. And they are always around you. They heard your question the other day and they say, yes, we are there, always. On the other side, there's the name Jimmy, who, you know, there's somebody standing there who keeps saying Jimmy, Jimmy, Jimmy. It was jumping up and down. So I don't know if there's anybody who knows to whom Jimmy is being referred, whether this person is in the world of spirit. And I'm just going to give you all the names that come to me as we work. There's also a sense that there are those in the healing professions. We might have one or two nurses amongst us tonight. And there is thanks given by people on the other side for the care that they've experienced at the hands of the nursing profession. So this is truly a group of incredibly caring people. There's an old lady who had her bed sores rubbed with special cream. Is there anybody who used to have a specific ointment that you rubbed on somebody who was in bed for a long time?
You can raise your hand or speak up if anybody recognizes it. Thank you, Belinda. I'm sorry.
That's fine. So is that Sue?
Yes, I was a nurse and used to rub creams on people to prevent bed sores.
There's a very grateful thanks being given to you, your way, coming your way from the world of spirit. So you are a healer. You were a nurse, but the healing anointing is one that has been there for a long time. And one can actually either have genetic or spiritual legacy, but from your mother's side, there is a strong spiritual ability, although this was not acknowledged in the same way. In fact, some people have followed very different traditions from what you are exploring right now. But you were given that ability on both a spiritual and a genetic level. So we embrace that. I'm looking for a man who also is a Colin. Hi, Colin.
Hi.
You're also a healer, according to spirit. And have you also looked after people in this manner before? As in the nurse, kind of in a medical or a professional capacity, or paramedical professional capacity?
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Right. That is correct. I was a nurse in England. I still work in care. I've worked in care for 30 years. So what you said before also was valid for me about looking after people with bed sores and anointing and the such. Yes.
Well, they're very, very pleased with you. They're very, very grateful. They say the healers of the earth are those that we need so much right here and right now. We tend to want to change the minds of those who are evil. And I'm going to try and focus very much on the positive and on the light this evening. And we acknowledge what is going on in the world at the same time, but they're asking all the healers to step forward and rather than concentrating on a specific person, to actually beam that healing energy that you have. And this is a hard one, out not only to the area where the affliction of war takes place, but also to possibly the person who is thought of right now to be the most evil person on the planet. It's very hard to beam light and healing, and yet that is what is being asked at this moment in time.
Yeah,
Michelle, sorry, Colin. So there's
that's fine.
Excellent, thank you.
I just wanted to thank you and say, yes, I have been doing that and sending love even to that gentleman because his soul needs it.
Thank you, that's brilliant. Spirit is most grateful. Michelle, Spirit, so now let me say okay, so that's Michelle Henderson coming to right now. Spirit says they are very well pleased with you. They say you've been making far more progress than you realize. So they want you to please be gentle on yourself. You're a perfectionist. Your aura is actually very similar to that of Brandon because both of you have got this incredibly powerful, we'll just call it left brain because it's easier semantically. You both are thinkers. And those, right? Okay, so those thoughts, they say, don't worry, the thoughts are, Brandon's agree. Right, so numerically and understanding systems and patterns, both you and Brandon are able to do that. It shows up in your auras. But as a medium, Michelle's Spirit says that you are developing. You must just keep going, and you've got to do things your own way. And things are going to be very, very, very special.
Thank you very much.
Pleasure. Okay, so there is also, sure, we got animals coming through now. We've got a cat who wants to come and comfort a cat, who is healing a cat. So for a lady with an L, if there is a lady with an L who has a sick cat, you can maybe just unmute yourself. But I'm seeing the animals coming through as well, the animal kingdom. And wow, there's a lot of animals coming through at this moment, and there's horses as well that are kind of galloping through. So it's not only the people that we are speaking about this evening. Spirit also asks that the creatives amongst us over here keep writing, that nobody puts a lid on their poetry, on their poetic license, that we keep going with all that is beautiful in this time that is so difficult. Lena, yes. It's affirmative, that is the cat for the cat. And the cat is licking the cat and kissing the cat. That's right. So I'm definitely holding out hope for the sick cat, because you've got some help here from the cat master, not just the angels. Pleasure. Very beautiful, a beautiful image. And then there is a lady who identifies, who wants to get a message to someone where she says, please do not be like me, and don't be like your mother. Do not allow men to drain you. Now, I've got to be very, very careful because we're in a public setting. So I want to be very sensitive to people's needs. When I conduct my oracle groups, I do it in a slightly different way. So I don't want to kind of jump onto anybody. But Spirit is asking that you please value yourself. If you feel comfortable speaking up, that's absolutely and utterly fine. But Spirit says that there's been frustration around possibly, well, the grandmother is saying that you might be very frustrated with how your mother has allowed herself to be drained by a particular male. And she does not want that for you. So please be very, very cautious that you are not taken advantage of. Now, this is quite interesting. Now, Mari or Marie, I'm not quite sure how you pronounce your name. Is it Marie Watson or Mari Watson? Mari, I don't know to what degree you're using your abilities right now, but what is fascinating to me is that you've had many lifetimes to do with some incredibly esoteric arts. You go right back to the Knights Templar and alchemy and hermetics, the hermetic sciences. Have you ever studied any of these things before? Because this is the time. You've been, you've stood in the role of the high priestess. You've had many incarnations. They're asking you to take ownership of that. They keep on saying, put on the robe. In some sects, there are those who would go sky-clad, you know.
No, I wear the
for example.
sky-clad.
But Spirit says to you, put on the robe and own it, own the role of the high priestess. You're a person who can make magic. So we have a variety of abilities over here. We then have, now this is interesting. We have a gentleman here on the left who, don't say anything yet, but your name identifies you as Derry, and yet the other side doesn't say that that's not your, they say that's not your name. There's more to your name, right? So what is your real name?
Derek.
Okay. So they wanted to say to you, Derek, in so many incarnations, you have, and you still are, you have been such a refined person. You were a musician in 5 lifetimes. You're an artist in 4 lifetimes. I can't see your hands because I only see your face, but your hands were badly burnt in 2 lifetimes. Your hands, one of the first, right, thank you. Your hands are very, very important to you, but the hands need to be taken care of. This is where there might be aches or pains that seep in. Your hands were everything. And when you could no longer play the violin and the piano, it became incredibly painful for you. When you could no longer paint, it was so difficult. And what you find very challenging this lifetime is you don't like loud people. You don't like people who speak for the sake of just speaking, right? You want people to be refined and to interact with meaning. And in this period of your life, Spirit wanted to say that that you're starting a new 5-year cycle. Now, I'm always looking for 7 and 10-year cycles, but 5 years ago was quite hectic. You know, the last 5 years have been difficult. They've been challenging for you, to say the least. And now things are going to be far better. And health-wise, they rub your stomach. They keep on rubbing your stomach. And they say, so just be careful with what you eat. They've been working on your digestion quite a lot. They wanted me to pass that on to you. Thank you. All right. Okay, Sharon. We got a Sharon at the bottom over here. Hi, Sharon. You have had an interesting few lifetimes. Spirit says you are sometimes so tired of just pushing ahead, just carrying on, and you haven't asked for too much in your life, right? You know, you would just like things to go right. Spirit says to you, why do you assume that you are ordinary? Or you've just wanted an ordinary life, and you wanted things to, you haven't asked for too much. Spirit said to you, and still says to you, you must ask for more. You're entitled to more. They go back to your childhood. They go back to the early years at school when you were not seen and you were excluded in many, many ways. They say now is the hour of power. Step into your power and go for it.
Thank you. Thank you.
Good. So that's going to be quite exciting. Yeah, I'm just trying to scan over all the blocks over here, and we get to Eleanor. Eleanor, another giver, an amazing person of light. Eleanor, you definitely are a trance medium, and Spirit wants you to take that quantum leap. And believe. Oh, yay. Now I can see Eleanor. Eleanor switched on her. Hi. Right. Such a precious, precious person. They say that you inspire so many people. Eleanor, do you know Jane? It feels familiar. I don't know you, but I feel like that maybe we have somebody in common or somebody that I've spoken to. Do you know anybody by the name of Jane?
Yeah, but she's on the other side, Jane.
Right. Okay. Because I recognize the energy.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So I just want to just take some time with her because she's made such a strong connection.
Wow.
There is this. She says, with you, the table's always full. Even when you're tired, you have to make sure that people are fed. You cannot handle for a second, you can't bear the thought that people are starving. And this is going to be particularly difficult for you when you see what is happening in Ukraine at the moment. It's been very triggering. It's hard for you, and you won't know why. It's not only past life stuff. But Jane, who is not the first person who you expected to come forward for you, because there are mothers and the granny, and there's a whole lineage of ladies who are standing here, and yet the Jane energy is obviously very strong. Well, not obviously, for me right now, is very strong, and she wants to insist that you really, really have the ability to trance. So I don't know if you have been to classes. Obviously, we've got Julie here, and she would be able to recommend many resources, but that is the direction that Jane wants you to go, because Jane wants to come through you. If
That's
you are
very
agreeable to
interesting.
that, she is going to do that. There were certain things in Jane's life that were cut off. Right, so her life was truncated.
Yes.
And sure, there's quite a, yeah, it's sad. Unfortunately, it's not just this wonderful ending and passing with the lights, camera, action at the end of the light at the end of the tunnel. It's very saddening. So she says, remember me, because some in my own family don't.
Yeah. Thank you.
Okay, pleasure.
Thank you.
All right. Julie, at any time, just shut me up, please, because I'm not sure.
I'll watch it. It's okay.
Yeah, how much time there is. I mean,
We have 5 more minutes.
Oh gosh, because I know the time just goes so quickly. Right. And there is, everybody here is just so precious. And then there's Malada or Malada. I never know how to say your name, because as a South African, I want to say Malada, but it's probably Malada. How lovely to see you. How do I actually pronounce your name, please?
Milada.
Milada. Okay, perfect. Okay. So Spirit says that you have been feeling the last few weeks, even before the war, you were feeling this intensely. And what has been so amazing is that they say that your reaction has become very, very slow. And you have been a beacon of light. I see you as a lighthouse. Here's you, Milada, the lighthouse. Like we wanted Colin to do beaming. You're beaming in a different way. You're the still point in the midst of the storm. You are remarkably powerful. Spirit still wants to check in and go on about the music. You're this woman with so many abilities. I want the music to be as important in your life as everything else. And if you can incorporate it into this being the lighthouse and the still small point, even better, because when you play your instrument, you can also go into that zone. It's just that it's easier for you when you kind of allow your body to be overshadowed, and to allow spirit to talk through you. But you have to let and it's an interesting image they're giving me. They say you must let your instrument cry. This is where you've got a whole lot of pent up tears, and you give all this message, right, of hope. So when are you going to practice? When did you last play?
A couple of weeks ago.
Right. Please, I want you to play something that is really going to express all of the inner tears for those who are suffering right now. Then you can spread the healing balm of peace. It can't be done but it can, through you, but it can be done through the instrument.
Thank you.
One more.
Oh my gosh. This is so ridiculous. Okay, so Lisa, another luminary, a giver to all. Spirit says, Lisa, this is a year when you need to receive. So Lisa, Spirit wants to just pour to you. They want this influx of healing to go to you. They know that there have been times that have been so upsetting to you. Over the last 6 months, the last 9 months, you never tell anybody. You certainly don't put anything on Facebook, but your heart has been torn out. There's been a great deal that you've been going through, and they say they know that. And this is the time you must accept it from everybody else. Allow everybody to just pour this beauty and this love into you. And they want you to know that you are seen, you are heard. And somebody here might know somebody. I have to just this is last thing. Trixie, the name Trixie. Someone's got to tell somebody about Trixie. There's a lady who's coming through who says she saw Trixie on this side. So if anybody knows, the Trixie might be an animal, because we were talking about Lena, the cats, and then Lena claimed the cat. This other Trixie is a cat on this side, but somebody's mother saw the Trixie. So please, everybody take that and try and find out who this person is. Yeah, thank you. I could go on much more, and I give very grateful thanks to all of you for giving me the opportunity of speaking with you this evening, and to the spirit world for being present.
Thank you so much, Belinda. It's wonderful. Thank you. Angelina.
Hello, everybody. Okay, well, a couple of hours ago, I started meditating and opened the door to whoever was supposed to be stepping in. So I will connect to the person that has been here for some time, and let's hope that, I'm hoping that somebody can resonate the person. I've got a gentleman that feels more like a grandfather, but this gentleman was very much into dancing. He was a passion of his life, and he actually taught dancing. Can anybody resonate with that?
You can raise your hand if Michelle.
Thank you, Michelle. He was not only teaching it, but like I said, it was a passion of his life. Now, I do see a little girl that he takes by the hand. With the music, showing steps. Can you resonate with that?
Michelle, you want to give
Let me give you my voice. Yes, I can. Yes,
wonderful.
I can.
Okay, well, he was quite vibrant as a personality, I would say. A very loving person, but an interesting character at the same time, because I think there were two sides to him, if I can say that. I can see you quite small, and I know that he always paid attention to the shoes, and he wasn't only into one type of dancing. So I can see him changing shoes. Like, for example, he might have done tap dancing, so the shoes would have been different. So it's not only one type of dance that he's specialized in. Can you take that?
I can take that into a different context. Perhaps we should just open it out to the floor as well.
Okay, if anybody else can take part of that. Okay, because he pointed to a pair of shoes specifically. So it was either very fussy about his shoes, or he made a point that all the shoes that were needed were always well prepared and to be given their best performance as such. I also know that he must have not only taught the dance, but did he participate also in organizing shows of some kind or gatherings?
I don't know.
Because he's not just doing the teaching, he would extend himself in other ways in that way. When I said to you that he has a different personality, he would be quite dynamic and warm when he had an interaction with people, but there was a side to him at times that was a little bit short-tempered. Can you take that?
I guess, yes.
Because that's the part he wants to focus on. That's the part he wants to sort of be a little bit apologetic about. Because there were times in his life that he overreacted, or it was a little bit too much on the edge and didn't come across the way that he wanted.
I'm not sure you're with me with Angelina.
Okay, anybody else can take some of part of this or all of it?
You can raise your hand if you can.
I'm still feeling that I'm with you.
So I can take a man in spirit who was just, he loved his dancing. I want to say that, yes, I can take the different types of dances. I can take the little girl and I can take the showing of the steps. I want to say that he wasn't vibrant. I would say he was vibrant on the dance floor.
Definitely, that's what you showed me. Dance floor, yeah.
So that's what I want to say.
Yeah.
I can't remember him having a short temper because I just can't remember.
Okay.
There's a lot of my youth that I've cut out. So please keep going, Angelina. Please.
Okay, so you can take most of it. He's actually very much focused on the dance floor and the music. So he doesn't, and even the bit that he showed me that it was a little bit sort of abrupt, it was still in that dancing area as such. He hasn't taken me outside the perimeters of that. So like I said, everything about him was about the music. Everything was, his life was about the dancing. So he was very, very passionate about it. And I know that he was very keen to teach you because I actually could see what you're wearing. And he would take you by both hands and he would take you through little steps to the right and to the left, and then teach you and then hold you by the hand and see if you, can you resonate with that?
Yes, absolutely.
So, so he had there's this enormous amount of sort of caring and love that is there. And it was almost as if he wanted to pass his own passion and love to you that he had about the dancing.
We shared the same heart connection when it came to dancing and passion about it.
So it meant a lot to him. That's why he keeps, like I said, he's always in the same space. He hasn't stepped outside it. I'm not asking him to step outside because I'm allowing him to be in the space that he's feeling comfortable with.
Our whole family was about dancing. Our whole family. So he's encompassing just the whole family.
Now, what he wants to say to you, he's actually using the steps as a symbolism to you. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Now, what he's saying to me is, when we are learning steps to dance, there is a particular pattern and a rhythm, and we follow it. He's asking you to step outside that. Does that make sense to you, please?
Yes. Yes, very much so.
Good. Because I was wondering why he kept staying in the dance floor there and not going anywhere. So I knew there was something about the dancing that
I can totally take that. I can totally take that. And I just want to
Okay.
say, one thing is that I actually asked him to come forward tonight. And
Wonderful.
I actually asked him to give me a sign about this, and you've just landed it. So thank you so much.
Well, it makes me very happy because I can tell you that he was here 2 hours ago.
I asked him, yeah, this morning. I said, please
2
come
hours
tonight.
ago here. It was 2 hours ago here because I sort of did a little sort of prayer thing, and I just opened the door and say whoever's. And it was quite funny because I heard him say, well, I'm going to be the first one. So I said, okay. And
He was my
I
number
try and
one.
make myself trusted, you know, because there's a part of me that says, are you kidding me? Now 2 hours ago, you're here. So anyway, let's go back to the steps. So he's saying, yes, to step outside the what's expected from you. Actually, again, symbolically, if this makes sense to you, he doesn't want you to think too much about what you should be doing next. You're thinking too much. You're thinking too much, he's saying. When you hear music and you've got the passion, he's saying, within you, and it's in your heart, you may follow those steps, but creativity is when you let go. And that's when the beauty comes out. So he's asking you to let go. He's asking you to be spontaneous within and allow the music of your soul to let you fly. Actually, he's saying that. He's using those words. Okay.
Thank you very much, Angelina.
You're welcome. You're very welcome. I'm glad he came for you. I'm very glad.
Me too.
Okay, I'm going to go directly to Cheryl. Cheryl,
Hello.
hi. Hi there. Again, I'm going to trust this. Have a lady around you. She's been waiting patiently. I'm going to go back to what Belinda said, because sometimes when we're in front of people, one has to be a little bit careful what we say. But I think, Cheryl, you've gone through quite a difficult time, yeah?
Yes.
And this lady has been very much around you. She feels a mother, a grandmother, feels like a mother more.
Yes.
Okay. A very caring person. Quite domesticated in her own way.
Yes.
But there could have been times where your personalities might have clashed a little bit.
Yes.
So I have to be tactful. Because she wants to go back to that, and she also wants to point out to you that she's been well aware that you've gone through a very difficult time and you came to a transition in your life. She's not telling me, I'm feeling it around you, but you had to make quite important decisions. Can you take that?
Yes.
Okay. She wants to reassure you that you did the right thing.
Okay.
She also wants to talk about the times that you clashed. She wants to apologize because I think she's saying that she realized she expected a little bit too much out of you.
Okay.
Does that make sense to you?
Yes.
What you? Okay. And it was not what she expected out of you that she was disappointed about. It had to do with herself.
I understand that.
Right. Because she was quite demanding of herself. I'm also feeling around her that she had quite a challenge in life herself.
Yes, she did.
And it would have been a life that demanded a lot of her. So it was difficult for her to be herself. I want to use those words.
Yes.
Because if I go into that, then I'm opening another chapter she wants to talk about, which is about her own life. But that has a, can you take that? Yeah.
I understand that.
So,
completely.
good. So she's not really apologizing, but she's saying we all are a product of what we are.
Yes.
And she wants to talk about that now because she wants to not only apologize, but she wants to make you understand that everything is perfect and everything is what it should be.
Okay.
Okay. And she was a bit of a perfectionist.
Mm-hmm.
Because even in the practical things that you grew up with, there was things that she wanted them done in order.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. So that projected into her relationships with people at times. And then again, that came from her own background. That came from the demands that were imposed upon herself.
Yes.
So she wants you to let go of that. She wants you to embrace it.
Mm-hmm.
She wants to say that it really came out of a lot of love for you. And she didn't want to come out as hard, maybe, as she did at times with you.
No, I understand that.
Now, even after you made that crucial decision in your life, and it was about a bit of a crossroads, yes?
Yes.
And she's saying that you found it very, very difficult to decide between your logic and your emotion to make that transition. Would that be correct?
Yes.
She stands right behind you. She walks with you.
Okay.
She was in your mind. She's in your heart.
Mm-hmm.
If you ever felt her or felt her presence, she's always on your right-hand side.
Yes.
Because that's where she's now. And she's saying to me, I will keep walking on the right-hand side so that every step she takes will always be the right one.
Okay.
So I'll leave you with that.
Thank
A
you.
lot of love given up to you. Okay. Okay, again, I'm going to trust this. I'm getting a little boy. This little boy shows himself to be around maybe 5 or 6, something like that. He would have been somebody that would have loved to play with little toys, but especially wooden little toys, so toys that link together. Does the loss of a little boy mean anything to anybody? And it may not be to somebody here, but it could be to somebody that they may know. Because I feel there's a bit of a distance. Can anybody take that?
I might know. I'm not sure.
Do I say it right? Is it Lala? Hi, Lala. Because he's standing a little bit further away, so that indicates to me that it's not necessarily to somebody here. So I feel that it's somebody that somebody knows. I feel that this child would have passed away from some kind of a blood disorder. No, okay. And when I say blood disorder, I meant like cancer. Okay.
Thank you.
Just go back on there. Okay, let's go to the next one. I'm getting a gentleman here that would have, feels like English actually. I can't think in the US, maybe the US they do the same thing, but he's selling, thank you, you're very welcome. Thank you very much. Selling newspapers and calling out like they do in the UK sometimes, shouting out, you know, I've got the Evening Standard, etc. Does that, can anybody take that? That was not his original job, but at some point in his life, he was selling newspapers. Nope. And I don't know if the newspapers, I'm going to go back on this. I don't know if the newspapers were about selling, but maybe he might have used the newspapers to rub things in and selling things in a newspaper. Can anybody take that?
I might be able to take that. The person I'm thinking of, he used to have newspapers sent to me, and he loved reading the newspaper.
I don't understand the word. A newspaper what?
He ordered a subscription to newspapers.
Right. Okay.
He loved newspapers. He loved to read.
Well, it's all about newspapers anyway. I don't know, this chap there, and it's all about newspapers. But I think he used to keep the newspapers as well, or make clippings from them.
Probably.
Yeah, because I said wrapping, but maybe he folded the pieces that he cut out and articles that he particularly liked. And in fact, not only cut them out, but if there was a particular subject that he was really into, then he would be meticulously keeping it away. Do you know, would you understand that?
He would share specific articles, yes.
Yeah, okay. So it was all about articles that he would, okay. Well, would you be aware that some of the things that he read or the clippings that he had, that he was very fond of talking not only individually to people, that he might be explaining or talking to a group of people?
Yes, he was just a learner, and he loved to share the knowledge.
Because he was very, very fond of that. So the reading was one thing, but he particularly loved doing that to a group of people. Not that he wouldn't like discussing it to say one-to-one, but it was his passion to be sitting, and I'm going to use the word a circle of people, because he loved the gathering of a group of people. Now, it's quite interesting because this is the first. He's saying to me that the passion of gathering people in a circle and speaking, he realized after he crossed over, actually stemmed from other lifetimes where he was, he would be like a philosopher and gathering people and teaching them. He was very much into analyzing and explaining to people how to understand things from a different angle. Does that make sense to you?
Yep, everything. I'm just not aware about a circle in this life, but everything else.
I mean, circle as a group of people, that he loved to have a gathering of people like that around him, you know, not just individuals sort of. Yeah, I mean, when I say a circle, I mean, he loved the group thing, you know. That's why I said that once he crossed over, he was aware how much he loved the idea of having people around and just explaining things. But what he liked most of all was to try and explain not only the articles, but he wanted to analyze them and interact with people as well. So he loved the feedback. Also, would you be aware that he had little books that he used to keep notes in?
Yeah.
Those are very, very precious to him. And they were quite small books. They were not big things. They were little small books. And also, he would use those books at times to even jot down his own ideas, his own way of thinking. And even some of those, which were very precious to him and quite original, actually, then he would use those as part of his explanation when he would be with people. But he had quite a wide taste of reading. So it won't be just on politics, for example, a very wide range. And would it be correct to say that some of his little notes are actually kept by somebody in the family?
I think so.
Yeah, because I see there's more than 10, and they're on a particular shelf, and there were groups of them that came under certain categories. Are you fond of writing? Are you fond of making notes? You are?
Yes.
Okay, I was just wondering, I was thinking to myself, okay, he's here. What's the whole point now here? What are we getting at? Why do you want to speak to Lala? So I said, okay, well, ask her about the writing. Ask her why she likes to write. Okay. Now, can I talk to you about your writing? Are you not picking up your pen? Can I tell you that directly?
Yes, yeah, it is accurate.
Because he's just stepped forward and he's just putting his foot forward and not just sort of really stepping into almost another kind of personality. And he's saying, you talk to her about her writing and tell her why she's not picking up her pen. And he's saying to me that every day you think about it, but every day he said she finds all kinds of excuses. Can you take that?
Yes.
And he's saying to me, I always watch her, what the next excuse on the next day is going to be.
Yeah.
And he's saying, what's interesting is that she comes back at the end of the day and she realizes, okay, you know what I'm going to say? That you come back at the end of the day because he's standing there right next to you and he's saying, okay, let's hear it now. So you can hear you saying that that was an excuse I made up and I'm annoyed at myself. And you promise yourself that the next day you're not going to make an obstacle and you're not going to create something. And you get quite frustrated at times. So he's saying enough of the excuses because he carried his little book around with him. So he carried his little book around with him because once those thoughts and ideas came to him, he realized that they came at the right time. And as well, he's saying that they'll also come to you at the right time, except you're not using the time. Can you take all that?
So I do my notes on my computer mostly, but I feel like I get much more in the flow when I use the pen. And so
Right.
I think that's the emphasis.
So he wants you to, that's why he's saying, I was making my notes in my little book. So make your notes when they come to you and have something with you so that you can also allow that to flow like he did. And he's saying, don't even excuse about the weather. You sometimes make excuse about the weather, he's saying to me.
So I haven't necessarily made a commitment to write. It's just been a thing going around in my head. And even
nothing to do, so not the weather, I'm going to go out, not this, not that, he's saying. He's saying, pick up your pen. Because you have a lot to give, he's saying to me. Not only that, he wants to come along and give you 3 gifts, 3 packages. So the next 3 years are going to be extremely important. Those packages are slightly different in size. They're beautifully wrapped. So you've got to unravel and take out those gifts. They're your gifts, but you've got to pick up the pen, because the next 3 years will give you fully the gift of what you are really worth, and you're not really seeing it right now.
Absolutely.
Okay, so he's right there, and he's going to be going oi, oi, behind you all the time.
Thank you so much. I really appreciate it.
Okay, great stuff. Okay,
Thank
I
you,
have no
Angelina.
idea what time is. Yeah, we're almost
Yeah.
there.
So Angelina and Belinda, Rabbi Belinda, I love that. Thank you so much for your time and the beautiful readings that you've done this evening, today, this morning to some people. And it's been amazing. I love watching both of you. But we do want to close with healing this afternoon. Today, Angelina will close with a healing prayer.
First, I want to thank everybody for being here for Spirit.
Yes.
And I want to particularly thank Julie, who puts a lot of effort in giving out to a lot of people. So wonderful work. I always say a big thank you to her. I want to thank Belinda for sharing the space here with me. It's great. I always find it fascinating to see who comes through and watch those personalities coming through, because they're so real. They never go away. And I thought it was a good opportunity for all of us, since there was a number of people here, to just bring our hearts and mind a little bit to, I'm going to use the word healing, but I think a part of just what I jotted down here, it really is about us healing ourselves first. Because that's what the deep root of everything is. It has to do with healing ourselves first. So thank you everybody again for coming. It's just a short little prayer I wrote. If you would like to just close your eyes, bringing your awareness to your heart, finding that point of stillness and that point of I am. And let us remember every day that we are not the bones and we're not the flesh, that we are simply experiencing. And to understand that our path is to learn and grow, but through that to express love and compassion. So keeping your awareness within your heart. Dear Mother, Father, God, let man see the light in his heart. May our hearts be open to compassion and understanding for all living beings on this Mother Earth. Help us to heal our hearts so we, in turn, be able to express our light as a gift to each other. May thy will be done. Take an in-breath of light from about 1 meter above your heads. Take a deep in-breath through your nose and bring that light straight through your heart center. Pause for a second and express that light out. And may that light be with you for the rest of your days to come. Thank you, everybody.